Hi, this is Dave from Micro Automations, and today I'm going to go over the wiring harness, some installation details, and what you can expect to see when your controller arrives. So this is the harness that's included with the controller, and this plug here mates with the controller. And as you can see, there are 10 wires. Some are required, most are optional, and I'll go over that real quick. To start with the required ones, we have power and ground, which are the black and red. Ground should be connected somewhere near the battery, ideally, or if you're using a piggybacked EFI temperature sensor signal, it should be connected where your ECU is grounded. The red wire just needs to be connected to a switched or key-on source. Yellow and green are the two wires that go to the fan. These are what control the speed. Then the next three are the purple, orange, and the white wires. Those go to the temperature sensor header. And of those three, this header has the purple wire, which is used for the piggybacking on an existing 0 to 5 volt DC EFI temperature sensor signal. This purple wire would just splice right in and you'd piggyback off that signal. The other two are the orange and the white. These are used for a standalone sensor. If you're using a single terminal sensor like the Autometer 2258, you would just use the orange wire and either cut or ignore the white wire, and the sensor itself would ground through the engine. So you need to make sure the engine has a good ground. Or if you want to use a 2-wire sensor, you can use something like the GM sensor shown here. And if you purchase it from me, it'll come with the mating plug already crimped into the harness. And now for the optional inputs. Blue is the air conditioning signal line. This can either be grounded or tied to battery voltage to indicate that the air conditioning system is active and needs the fan to run. After a short delay, the fan will turn on to 50%. Otherwise, this input can be ignored or allowed to float. The brown wire is the output to the old Mopar bimetal dashboard temperature gauge. Similar to this one out of my truck. Some intakes only have one spot for a temperature sensor, so this would let you take your old sensor out, put in a new sensor, and hook up the old wire to the brown wire. And this allows the controller itself to drive the needle on the gauge. So even if you only have one spot in your intake for a temperature sensor, you can still run the controller and use your stock temperature gauge. If you're not using this, it can either be ignored or just cut out. The gray wire is the output to the dash status LED. And this one you can make the LED operate either red or green, depending on how you install it. Details on that are found in the manual. So the bare minimum install would be power and ground, the red and black, the yellow and green to the fan, and one of the orange or purple temperature sensor inputs. As for the fan itself, if you buy the fan harness from me, this is what you'll get. This plug goes into the fan, and that gives us the 2 wires for controlling the fan, and the 2 big heavy wires for power and ground to the fan. The ground to the fan should go somewhere near the battery, and the power to the fan should come off the battery or off the alternator side, and ideally go through a 50 or 60 amp fuse or breaker. And you want to make sure you get these ones connected correctly. You do not want them backwards. So hopefully that will answer any questions you have about wiring the fan controller. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments. Have a good one.